All right, we are in here at Coach's office today because the weather outside does not look too beautiful to do it at Kia of Anniston, Oxford. But we're here for another edition of the Sam Adams Show. And Coach, last week you guys come away with a big victory, 45-13 over Shades Valley team, which you knew coming in was going to be tough. You had adversity, you had everything happen in this game in front of a very large crowd. You guys actually got down 13-0 before you kind of kicked it in gear, so to speak. But take us back to last Friday night.
Yeah, so they started off. They had a really dangerous slot receiver, number 6, and they got him in some open space, and we couldn't get him on the ground to start the game. And then they came out and played us differently on defense than they had shown in the first couple games. So it took us a little bit to get adjusted to that. We punted on our first drive, and then they hit the same player got loose on us again on a little bubble screen. Then after that point, we really got in control of the game. Got to figure out how to fit that bubble up a little bit better, and didn't give him quite as much space as he had early on, and we played really efficiently on both sides of the ball from that point on.
What do you think the over and under on Coach Cochran's blood pressure was during those first few missed tackles?
It was pretty far up there at the very beginning. Yeah, it was pretty far up there.
I bet those were some animated huddles on the sidelines.
It was, yeah.
Now, Coach, here something that's really transpired over the last couple of weeks is the play of your quarterback, Mason Mims. Mm-hmm. He's really settled in, and you and I talked off camera about this. He's hitting at about 80% and had, 400-something yards?
Yeah, last 2 games combined, he's right at 80% completion, pushing 450 yards and 7 touchdowns in the last 2 games.
What's clicked? Does the game slow down to him? Does he get more used to the offense? What's clicking for him at this point?
Probably all of the above. He's really playing the way that we saw him play the entire preseason. Nothing that he's done has surprised us. He's a really good decision maker. He's an accurate thrower, and he's got a strong arm, and the ball's just getting out on time to the guys that it needs to go to.
Now, you had a receiver, Judd Sire, had a fantastic game with 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also, Jaden Thomas had 100 yards and 10 carries. Mm-hmm. So you guys were getting it done on the air, on the ground, everywhere. Just talk about the overall performance of that offense last week in that game.
Yeah, I was really, really proud of them. Aside from the first drive, when they kind of mixed it up on us a little bit on defense, I think we scored every time with the main guys in there. So we got a lot of guys that can hurt defenses in different ways over there. You're seeing kind of different guys step up and be the star each week. Last week in Huntsville, it was at the receiver spot. It was more Sam Robertson. In McAdory, it was really Jaden Thomas. This past week, it was a combination of Judd Sire and Jaden Thomas and a handful of other guys as well. We had 2 other running backs score touchdowns. E.K. Wilson got on the board. Caleb Wynn, freshman running back, had a rushing touchdown in there. And so, we're really able to spread the ball around, and I think that keeps defenses from being able to go into a game and say, hey, we got to stop this one guy.
Now, let's flip that thing over on the defensive side. You had a George Teague type play this week.
Yes.
Would you explain exactly what happened? Who made that play for you this week?
Yeah, it was the freshman defensive end, Keenan Britt, made a phenomenal play. Had a good pass rush move and beat the offensive tackle. They also had a running back that was helping out in protection on his side. Then he beats the running back and just simply took the ball away from the quarterback. The ball never hit the ground. He didn't knock it out, then pick it up. He just took the ball out of his hand and returned it for a touchdown, and it was a very special play for any age of player, but especially for a freshman.
Could you imagine? My freshman year, I've been scared to death. But he's out there blowing people up and stripping the ball. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. And people are familiar with that last name around here, too.
Yes, absolutely. It comes from a great family that's been around here for a while.
Yeah. Now, Coach, this week you guys are at Huffman. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and say this. You guys are definitely road tested, road warriors, so to speak. You've played 3 tough opponents, counting the Jamboree game, on the road. Mm-hmm. So going on the road this week's not going to affect you guys at all. And I'm not saying that, no disrespect to Huffman. I'm just saying the road is very familiar to you guys. Mm-hmm. You're going to Huffman. They've been struggling a little bit out of the gate. They're 0-3 right here. But what have you seen from Huffman? They got athletes. But what have you seen from them on film?
Well, they got a great head coach in Marlon Bush. It's a friend of mine. We've kind of crossed paths a few different times in our careers. So I know he'll have them ready to play. And the thing that jumps out when you just watch them for a few minutes is how hard they play. This is not one of those things where you have a team that's struggling and they've given up. That's far from the truth. And I think they've consistently gotten better in each of their 3 games, and they're probably playing. They look like a different team now than they did back in the first game against Minor.
Now, Coach, anytime you go on the road and playing the type of athletes you guys are going to play, you've got to be laser focused. What are some of the things that you preach personally, and each coach is different, to make sure that you guys harness what you learned during the week so you can get it executed on Friday?
Well, we kind of take what we maybe didn't do so well the week before, and that's kind of our focus for this week. So one of the things that we're really trying to figure out is how to get off to a better start.
That's right.
So we've been we haven't scored first in any of our regular season games yet. Mm-hmm. We've been down 2 scores in the first quarter twice, and Huntsville jumped on us by they scored the first touchdown in the game in that one. But I think we're just there's a lot of reasons possibly for that. It could be different reasons every week, but we're just trying to make sure that we are supremely focused from the first snap of the game. We won't be able to give other teams a 2-touchdown lead later on in the year. Right. So we're hoping to mature a little bit in that way.
And when you give teams not only those 2-touchdown leads, but that also gives those teams confidence. And some of those teams that you probably should be starts gaining confidence. Next thing you know, it's the 4th quarter and we're in a game. You definitely don't want that.
That's right.
Well, Coach, just give us some final thoughts heading into this Huffman week. I know you got some things you got to get done and some messages you would like to get out to everybody, but just some final thoughts heading into this week.
Well, this will be a good week for us. I think we're going to get a couple guys back that were unavailable last week due to some injuries. So, we're just hoping to get off to that really good start, like I said. And, hopefully we have a big crowd there at Huffman on Friday. We had a huge crowd here last week against Shades Valley, and we're just looking for more of that each week from our Oxford community.
No doubt. Now, Coach, last thing before we shut it down, you did get out to a 13-0 deficit, but you went 45 points unanswered.
That is correct.
You'll take that all day.
That is correct. It's hard to score 45 in a row
against
anybody.
That's exactly right.
That Shades Valley team, they were 2-0.
That's right. Yeah, that's a big one. Well, Coach, thank you so much. And that's all we have this week for the Sam Adams Show. We'll be back next week at our normal time. We're a day late today because of Labor Day. Coach did not take the day off. He worked, but the rest of us did. See you guys next week.